Good evening, everyone. I think it's that time. Program time. Good evening and welcome to the grand opening of the Child Studies Center here at the College of Marin. I'm honored to be the Superintendent President, David Winkhood, and I'm honored to welcome you to this very special celebration.
Yay, David!
We have lots of dignitaries and VIPs and special, you're all VIPs and special people, by the way. However, we have a number of people that I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce. First of all, we actually have a quorum of our Board of Trustees, so no talking business, trustees. We have with us Wandine Trainer, trustee, Stephanie O'Brien, Stuart Tannenberg, and Diana Conti. Trustees, thank you for your leadership and for your support of the Child Studies Center. We're also joined this evening by Marin County Supervisor Katie Rice. Katie, thank you for being here. We also have the pleasure of welcoming the Honorable Faye Deal-Paul, Superior Court Judge. Faye, thank you for being here. Marin County Superintendent of Schools, Mary Jane Burke. Jenny Calloway from the office of Congressman Jared Huffman. Carol Mills from the office of State Senator Noreen Evans. Carol, welcome. Scott Alonzo from the office of State Assemblyman Mark Levine. Scott, thank you for being here. We have a team of individuals that are here that actually are responsible for the design, the construction, the building, and all the good things that make this building possible. We have Michelle Huber from Studio Bondi Architecture. Michelle, thank you for being here. Will Canal from Jeff from Chetty Construction. Will. We have a number of our members from the Jacobs Project Management Team. Thank you, Jacobs. HPIT Architects are represented this evening. HPIT. JL Modular, thank you for being here. And finally, Harry Landscaping. A big round of applause for our construction and design team. Although Fred Starkweather, the architect that designed the Child Studies Center, couldn't be here this evening, we are hopeful, Michelle, that you'll take the good word back about how happy the faculty and the staff and all the children that are here and appreciating this great work. So thank you very much for being here. So how about a round of applause for Fred? Come on, folks. It's all about spreading the love tonight. So, wait for your cues. There you go. That's my job. I'd also like to take a moment to acknowledge the local small businesses that have made contributions for this evening's event. First of all, the delicious food was brought to us by Comforts. Beautiful flowers by Linda's Flower Box. And finally, Sunnyside Nursery providing the Giving Tree, which I will provide you much more detail about later in the program. So a round of applause for Sunnyside Nursery as well. This state-of-the-art Child Studies Center was funded by the $249.5 million Measure C Facilities Modernization Bond passed by the Marin County voters in 2004. Let's give it up to the Marin County voters, taxpayers. The center includes 2 preschool classrooms with an observation room, an adult classroom for early childhood education and other classes, faculty and staff offices, and an outdoor play yard and children's garden that merge with this beautiful marshland that we are looking out upon this evening. College of Marin is the only educational institution in Marin where students can earn early childhood education accreditation with child development programs at both the Indian Valley campus and here at Kentville. Nearly every preschool in Marin, as well as many of Marin's family child care providers, have been trained in early childhood education here at College of Marin. Excuse me. Round of applause there. The college's Child Development Program is a demonstration preschool that provides child observation and practicum training to our students. This is important because teaching is a profession where classroom learning is only part of the story. Opportunities for observation and practice with highly skilled teachers help students translate ECE coursework information into teaching skill. The critical role education plays in the first 5 years is no longer disputable. Intrinsic to play, once considered frivolous, it is the laboratory where children learn best and transfer learning to life. Where the past attitude was often to make do, College of Marin Child Study Center has raised the standard of excellence with regard to thinking and implementation that can be adapted to all child development programs. As you will see, the center is a place where continual learning opportunities take place at a variety of different levels. The center provides comprehensive early education programs to the children of COM students and staff, as well as members of the community. They also link parents to vital community-based family services. Here, parents are able to pursue their educational and career goals knowing that their children are well cared for. At this time, I'd like to invite Carol Mills, representing State Senator Noreen Evans, to the podium.
I'm here on behalf of State Senator Noreen Evans, and she, like I, were single moms. So we know that whatever else happens as a single parent, the thing that you care and worry most about is childcare. Not only that you have a good place to take your child, a safe place, but a place that you can go to whatever it is you're doing, work or school, and not have to worry, is she being ignored? Is she not being fed? Is she being bullied? To know that she is in, or he, is in a place that you can trust and believe in and feel safe is a gift from the heavens, and you are providing that gift. And it is with real affection and pride that we present the certificate of recognition to the Child Study Center, College of Marin. Congratulations on the grand opening of the Child Study Center. Your dedication to providing high-quality early education for the infants, toddlers, and preschool-age children of College of Marin students is a gift to the community. Senator Noreen Evans.
Thank you, Carol, and please express our gratitude to Senator Evans. We appreciate that. At this time, I'd like to also invite Scott Alonso, representing Assemblyman Levine, to the podium.
Hi, good evening. My name is Scott Alonso. I'm with Assemblymember Mark Levine's office here on behalf of Mark. I wanted to present an official assembly certificate congratulating this opening. And it's so important for folks to remember, you know, government does work, right? The voters passed something, it may have been 10 years ago, long time, but we see the efforts now. This wonderful facility, helping students, helping children. It's a real positive night. Thanks so much for coming out, and thanks so much for the College of Marin for having us. Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, and we also ask you to express our appreciation to Assemblyman Levine as well. At this time, I have the opportunity to make an introduction. I've decided tonight that everybody deserves a proper introduction. Jenny, oh, they didn't tell me, Jenny. I'm sorry. Thank you very much, Jenny. Representing Congressman Huffman, I didn't know. Come on up. And everybody has something not to be outdone.
Well, you know, we travel with these in our pocketbooks. I didn't know if we were going to be doing this, but I didn't want to miss the chance. Congressman Huffman couldn't be more thrilled about this project. It's always wonderful when the community gives back to itself in this way. And once again, Marin County, we're on the forefront. Childhood education is a huge key to future success, and what you're doing here today, from this day forward, inside these walls, with love, care, thought, and unparalleled excellence is really welcomed. And so here's a congressional certificate of recognition from your Congressman, Jared Huffman.
Thank you, Jenny, and please express our appreciation to Congressman Huffman.
Anybody from Obama?
Anybody else got certificates out here? Certificates, dollars. We're accepting all the above this evening. So back to our proper introductions. Mary Jane Burke began her career in education in Marin County in 1971 as an instructional assistant. She went on to serve as a teacher, principal, special education director, assistant superintendent, and deputy superintendent. Elected in 1994, she has served as Marin County Superintendent of Schools for the last 20 years. Known as we all know, an enthusiastic champion of all students in public and private schools, she is committed to seeing that students are given a strong start in education. So as they graduate with the basic knowledge, skills, and values needed for success in school, and most importantly, in life. She serves as the co-chair of the School Law Enforcement Partnership, School to Career Partnership, and the Marin Early Childhood Education Partnership. Mary Jane is the past president of the California County Superintendent's Educational Services Association and currently serves on its executive committee. She was president of the Fiscal Crisis and Management Assistance Team, FICMAT, board of directors, and remains on its executive committee. She is also a current member of the Board of Trustees of Dominican University of California, the university from which she received both her bachelor and master's degree. Please join me in welcoming the always effervescent Mary Jane Burke.
Very much. I just have a few words to say. I have exactly 2.5 minutes, but they're going to be good, so get ready. 2.5 minutes. I want to start by expressing great thanks and appreciation to the team here at the College of Marin. And so I want to just frame this a little bit. There was a time that the trustees, the president, were having to make a decision about whether or not this was going to happen, right? And they were getting a little bit of pressure about, are we going to really be able to do this? And I want you to know the fact that the trustees, our strong president, the amazing team with Lyda and Peggy here, and the many community supporters, that our community college was willing to look at the scope of their work in a broad way. They could have narrowed it and said, little kids, nah, not so much, right? We'll take care of them when they get to us. But instead, they understood how important it is to invest in our children, regardless of age, but in particular, invest in our youngest children. And I know that when political pressure happens, sometimes the wind can sway people. And the fact that you stood strong, we're passionate, and we're willing to take a stand, I pay tribute to you all. It's like nothing short of amazing. And so to David, thank you to Lyda, to Peggy, to the entire team. You actually have set a standard for the rest of us. So there you were, having to decide what you were going to do, and now you set the standard. And so I would like to say to all of us, we now know what our responsibilities will be in this community. The fact that the young children in our community need to be ensured of quality childcare and preschool opportunities is indeed a moral imperative. Now, Ethel Siderman will say this much better and stronger than I will, just for the record, but I decided I better say it first before she brought me down, right? But just hold the thought that it is, right? We know that. We know if we invest, we can change the world, and we will do it through the eyes of the children. And if you would just take 1 second and just look here at this beauty, right? It's just so beautiful. And you can imagine that the children are on that slide laughing and playing and doing developmentally appropriate things and having opportunities to interact. I mean, just think about what can be happening for these young children in an environment where people believe in them, where the passion is there on behalf of all that they can be and all that they are already. And now imagine the teachers from throughout Marin County and beyond who have the opportunity to be supported and trained in ensuring that these young children develop their curiosity. I mean, just picture that and what that will mean for the rest of their lives. So I feel honored to be part of a community with all of you that is willing to stand tall on behalf of young children. So they aren't even born yet, some of them, right? But they will be into a community that will be working both individually and collectively to ensure that all of them, not some, not most, but all of them have exactly what they need. A nurturing environment, people who care, parents who receive the support they need to be fully engaged, and an overall system who knows that if we invest in the youngest children, we will indeed change the world. I'm proud to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Jane. Here's to 4 more years. Thank you very much. And now on to our special guest speaker, Ethel Seiderman. Ethel is nationally recognized for her creative approaches to childcare and family, establishing cooperative preschools tied to parent education programs. Raised in the Bronx, Ethel Seiderman moved to Marin in 1964 and immediately began building programs that provided experiences for children and opportunities for their parents that bridged the diverse populations found in Marin County. In 1973, she founded the Fairfax San Anselmo Children's Center, which has served as a model for subsequent programs throughout the nation. Ethel, along with leaders from 3 other Bay Area centers, developed the Parent Services Program, now a nationwide program that helps low-income and diverse families gain greater access to resources while creating a sense of community. In November 2007, she stepped down as the executive director of the Parent Services Project, but continues working there part-time as an advisor and consultant. While her work with Parent Services Project often took her away from Marin as she lectured and taught at sites in a dozen states, she simultaneously worked closely with 8 child care centers in Marin, as well as 12 elementary and high schools. She currently serves on the advisory team for the Hannah Project in Marin City, as a board member of the Milagro Foundation, and as a member of the Strong Start Early Childhood Tax Measure Coalition. And for the last 5 years, she has hosted a monthly gathering of young leaders, to which I have yet been invited, known as the Wisdom Trust, made up of 30 to 50-year-olds, I'm pushing the limit, reaching for exemplary leadership. Please join me in welcoming the Grande Dame of early childhood education.
Mary Jane, I won't repeat anything you've said. The first baby. The nature of my talk tonight, you want to move it? Oh, am I short? Chair. I'm fine. Yeah. The nature of the talk tonight is to honor our past and plot the future, beginning right now. Ghana, there's a quote from Ghana that means a lot to me and has really guided me. The people who do not remember their past will never know where they are or where to go. So honoring our past is not old-fashioned. It's our anchor, it's our base. Dr. James Comer is a child psychiatrist in New Haven, Connecticut, who gave up a very lucrative practice because the children in New Haven were lavishing in hell. And he gave his attention to improving the schools. His mother, he wrote a book about his mother called Maggie's American Dream. And what that was about is his mother and father were the conspirators. 2 of them. She cleaned houses and worked on land, and he was a sharecropper. And she said, I'm looking for a man that will help me raise children that will be outstanding and successful. They had 5 kids, they have 25 degrees. He talks to you unabashedly that the people he grew up with are drugged out, in prison, and have not had fulfillment because the first conspiracy, the parents, were not there. Here is my conspiracy. Some of you know that I've written a memoir called What Makes a Life. And in this memoir are the people in my family, including Archie the donkey, who Stan and I and the kids wanted to save when the Peace Corps ended. So here we are from Brooklyn and the Bronx, getting a horse wagon to bring Archie to my house. And here I am getting calls from Sir Francis Drake Boulevard. Mrs. Siderman, your jackass is on Sir Francis Drake Boulevard. I said, get those kids out of school and get them. I was saving the world in the Fillmore. You know, I don't have time for this stuff. Anyway, I'm about to do another one called Snapshots and a Bagel. Don't be surprised, I'm a little quirky. I'm from the Bronx. I'm first generation. David, I'm like a lot of the kids here. Now, they may be younger, but my parents came from Poland, and my husband came from Russia. And not only am I from New York, they say New York, a city so nice, they named it twice. But being from the Bronx is a very distinctive feature. Remember, we have the New York Yankees. We did have the New York Giants, but money buys the world, and San Francisco bought them. So they're here now, and I'm still rooting for them. Well, my family snapshots are what made me. And what we're doing right now is making a life for our kids. And they have to remember where they came from, who their parents are. And we have an uphill battle because the kids tend to be a little ashamed. The parents tend for you not to know what they don't know. So it's your job to elevate that to the highest level, because unless they are the conspirators, the children won't rise to the level they need to. Another lesson is dealing with the warriors. And in this room, by the way, are a lot of warriors. Peggy was the first, I'm going to start crying, but Peggy was the early teacher at the daycare center. Her babies were in the center there. We broke precedent, would say, I would hear, you're not putting, Heidi, where are you?
Here.
Well, the other Heidi, are you here? Yours were the first, right? Heidi taught and her children. Because what you heard was, well, you can't have the kids of the families here. Well, I knew what the hell I was paying them. Believe me, they were definitely ready for this and needed it. So, but an important lesson about Fairfax, and it has to do, Mary Jane, a lot with the Marin County Office of Ed, maybe just around the time you came or a little earlier. But we tried for years to get a grant to the State Department of Ed. And what we got back was, it's not precedent. Precedent is just what's usually done. Sometimes precedent is really boring, you know. So Dorothy Hughes, who many of you in this room know, and I went up to Sacramento. And the day it doesn't take somebody you know in government. Government works, but you got to push on it real hard. You know that. So tell Mark he can watch out. We're coming after him. We're on the door. But precedent was an unbelievable thing to try to get by Senator Al Rada, who was the head of education in Sacramento, and knew he could start at the back of the Ed Code and know what's going on. He must have been Jewish. You know, he's still I'm from the Bronx, that's what happens. Anyway, we went up there, and let me tell you the ammunition we had. Betty Presley, Health and Human Services, then the Social Service Department. Joe Denhart, Marin County Office of Education. I see a lot of heads shaking. Joe said, we're not expanding. We have 200 kids, and we can't expand. He divested to Community Action Marin, not for a good reason. The reason was that they couldn't afford the salaries of the school district, and Carol's sitting there smiling, and they couldn't afford the benefits. But what it did give us was a place to get in the door and to be able to break precedent and to show that either you break precedent or you change the law. If it's not working, don't swallow it. At that moment, they called our two state consultants in. I'll never forget them, Bill Roberts and Carl Schmidhauser. And Rada looked at them and he said, Senator Rada, he said, now I want you to show me where in the Ed Code we can't fund this. Well, it's not precedent, Senator. He said, I'll tell you what, call the office, have somebody up here right now, we'll put you in an office, take their notes and transfer it to the proposal, and this center will open. So anyway, the Bronx comes in handy. And that is the way it moved forward. And that's something that I actually tell all of us in this room, to not look at it as though it's sacrament, to look at precedent as soft. It's just what you've done, it's what you're comfortable doing, but it's not in the best interests of our children and our families all the time. So began the Fairfax San Anselmo Children's Center, and who was there rallying was Joe Denhart, because he worked really hard. We need to get these kids ready for school is something I constantly hear. You know that, Mary Jane, you hear it every day. You know what? They're in a school. Make it the best school that it could be. It's not, we don't need preparation for their next life. We've all gotten there. They'll get there too if the foundation is sound. So I want us to drop that. And we have to figure out what we're going to call it. I don't need to buy school, but there's some way to communicate that they're in a school and it's a solid school. That puts an obligation on me and everybody in this room, because they're not all good. I mean, I'd be the first one to tell you that. Therefore, we have to form a covenant of trust to begin to open up the idea that things could be done somewhat differently. So you are now anointed as a conspiracy to move this along. And I'm going to go forward. There are warriors that you all know of in this room. I'm one by age, it gets that way. And you said government works fast. I want to tell you, I'm getting a little old. You mind speeding it up a little bit? Just ratchet it up a little bit. The warriors in this room that we know of, and I'm looking at the people that know them. I got my master's at State College, and I got an honorary PhD, which I think is a little hokey, from Dominican. No, Mary Jane says no. But okay. Mary Lane was my teacher at State. Millie, where are you, Lida? Millie Omni.
Oh, Millie.
Okay. John Dewey. Let's not forget John Dewey. We better start teaching this. What?
Number one, John Dewey.
Well, are we teaching him?
We should.
Well, let's. Now, Evelyn Omwick is somebody rhetorically that wrote a piece called "Is Play Obsolete?" What a question to ask. Then along came Pat Nareau that said, play, we've said this for years, but play is a child's work. It's a research laboratory. Just watch them out here. They're researching how they're going to move into other things in their life. And they're picking up the clues that are amazing right here. So don't dump play or you'll have me to face. Then we have people like Ron Lolly, Far West Labs. We have Jeree Paul, 0 to 3 in Mill Valley. We have Rhoda Kellogg, who you like or don't like, but she laid out art to understand children's art, right? Some of us didn't like it that much. Okay. We have Bank Street. And then we have Jack Shonkoff, who wrote Neurons to Neighborhoods. We brought him here. And that's become something edged in our history. Eleanor Roosevelt. I'm a little conceited. I think I was the Eleanor Roosevelt, and my friend Barbara Shaw was the Mary McLeod Bethune who formed the Parent Services Project. But Eleanor Roosevelt, during the Second World War, when we had the best child care that we've ever had in this country, maybe not as good as this, Peggy and Lida. Okay, I give you that. But Eleanor Roosevelt, they needed the women in the workforce. It was the war. We needed to build ships and planes and bombs and all that. And Eleanor Roosevelt got the Kaiser Industries to send home with every single family a food for the evening dinner. They walked home with their dinner already made. The fathers in the war, the mothers are working 12 hours a day, and the kids are exhausted. Some of them are in childcare because of the mother's shift. Therefore, we know it can be done. We passed the Lanham Act. Some programs right here are part of the Lanham Act. And in the room is the League of Women Voters who've been, Marcia, and where's Peggy? Who and they were in the IJ the other day with a splendid letter. And I'm proud to say that the National Council of Jewish Women wrote the first book on childcare, and that was in the very early 70s or late 60s. You gotta kick those Jews around and they come through, you know. Okay, now, I was talking to someone here, remind me who it was. Earl Warren said, anything I ever did that was worthwhile, I caught hell for. And I look back at my history of catching hell. I didn't understand why I was so hated for opening a child care center in San Anselmo. And my friend Percy Moore came out, who's African American. He said, listen, stupid, it's not about race, it's about economics. You're 6 blocks from Ross. They don't want to know that they have kids of color or kids that have no money. There's a mystique about this part of town. And it helped me become enlightened and to face the truth when I see it. Anyway, Langston Hughes said, and I'm coming to the end of this soon, oh, let America be America again, the land that never has been yet. America has never been America to me, and yet I swear this day, America will be. And I think you all brought us closer to the America that Langston Hughes wanted for all children. So, I'm moving into the future, because some of you have already heard that there is a plan that will not be a plan. It will turn into action. I don't have enough time, you know, we gotta go from plan to action. And fast forwarding into the future, every profession insists on continuing education. We have not been strong in continuing education anyway. It's a patent thing. All the teachers get a day off. We don't ask them where they are, where they want to be. They're all getting continuing education. We're looking at continuing education. Sorry, Mary Jane, is that a bad thing to say? It's too late. We are forming the first institute of the College of Marin. It will not be pocket out of the College of Marin. There is a commitment to raise money for this, and it's notable. It's a brilliant idea, rising again. A bit of history. To my left is my still very good friend, Fady Opal. We were present at Mimi Farini's funeral. Remember celebration? And Faye, you walked up to me like this. Oh. You walked up to me like this, finger pointed. You know, I've seen you do that, so I remember it. And you said, why are we doing so much about the elders? Where have you been to do more for kids? Here I am dragging myself, what more? So then I said, what? And she said in a very crisp manner, you know what? Does that sound like Faye to all of you? I gotta tell you, it is. And thus began, about 8 to 10 years ago, something called the Center for Early Childhood Excellence. It lavished, I'm not gonna go into why, there are good reasons, but I won't gossip and defame anybody. Right now. Yeah. So, Faye and Wandine and you, the board, are amazing to have moved forward with this, and I promise you, there will be, and there is, an institute for excellence in education. Thanks, Faye, for sticking with me and really, and fanning the embers. You know, it took that, because you all know, you get discouraged after a while. I mean, you're beating your head on it. So, no one, I want to move faster. I'm running out of time, right, David? Okay.
Good answer.
Okay. We will treat our teachers, I insist, as though they are scholars. We will invite ongoing learning so our seasoned teachers continue to have their vibrancy, expand their learning, and are mentors and role models to our new teachers and those that are waiting to have us rise to this occasion. There's a Filipino quote that says, "You have taught us well, and I see myself in you." That's the role of a mentor. They don't have to be a prototype of you, but they have had to absorb some of what you've carried. Anyway, then there's Plato, who I love, who says, "Those who have torches will pass them on." Here it is, Peggy, catch. Okay. And what this institute will be about is Faulkner said, don't try to be better than anyone else. Just try to be better than yourself. And that's what we want to convey to the teachers. So we are going to move forward now to a part that I love. I'm doing 2 of them, so this is great. The ask. And I tell you, spare yourself the aggravation, okay? Because I hardly give up. Katie, I don't know if you know this, but Gary Giacomini and Pete Aragoni, when Dorothy Hughes and I came up to the podium, they would caucus over here, and they'd say, hey, look, let's give them whatever they want. Please, they're going to wear us out. So it was a great... So that is what I say to you. Make my job easy. Some of you have already stepped up, but I tell you, I like big money, since I've never had it. There are many choices for you, but I have to tell you that we would like to start the Institute and bring someone here. Many of you in the room, she's been our teacher, Lillian Katz, and she's almost as old as me, so we better move. Anyway, it's an item marked 25,000, but unless somebody can step forward for that, that'll be great. But otherwise, contribute to raising that so we can look to bring it to beginning the Institute. I'm not in favor of one-shot motivational speakers. I'm just not. They come in, we pay them $15,000 if they're good, we put them up in a hotel and we fly them first class and they're gone. So this plan is to have the people that we bring stay in internship with us for several days so a wide range of teachers can be exposed to them. So I want you to step up. There are flyers like this, you could get them. But now the Bronx comes out, as I end with this last quote. I warned you. Mona Lake Jones is a poet laureate in Seattle. One of the things she says is that black boys must wear their helmets even off the field. But the thing that I am going to read you says, should I demonstrate, tolerate, mediate, educate, motivate, negotiate, or just kick ass? So I'd like you not to have me kick ass and step up. I'll be gentle, but I'm hoping that I see and hear from you. Thank you very much.
Once again, Ethel Seiderman. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you, Ethel. Never a disappointment, and always a character. So at this time, I'd like to invite our trustees, Supervisor Rice, Mary Jane, Jenny, Carol, Scott, the Child Studies staff. We're going to do a little ribbon cutting. Any construction folks that had the design team, we're going to do a little symbolic ribbon cutting. And then we're going to close our program out. So come on up.
Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you. Oh, say your name.
Ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3, go.
Okay, so thank you for that ribbon cutting. Obviously, this evening there was a long list of people involved in making this evening a success, and I do want to take a moment to announce their names. First of all, those in the ECE Child Study Center: Lyda Beardsley, Peggy Dodge, Linda Fahey, Lori Maraca, Melanie Versanger, Tashidi Malthis, Maureen Bennett, and Adam Dodge. I've got a big round of applause for our ECE staff. On the College Services team, we have Annie Rakuti, Shook Chum, Jesse Harbison, and Albert So. How about a round of applause for our College Services team? Our maintenance and operations staff: Matt Smith, Heidi Rank, Jeff Cox, John Rodriguez, Lupe Oropeza, Alexio Perez, Tom Burke, Heidi, where'd I go? I shouldn't have looked away. Tom Burke. And finally, Gabriel Lambert. Big round of applause for our M&O staff. Okay. Our media services group: John Goodmanson and Andy Haber. How about a big round of applause for them? And then we have a number of other people that were involved: our ASCOM associated students, Nikki Lamke, Carrie Torres, Carol Shiley, and Nicole Cruz. Big round of applause. So, I'm going to say something and then hand it off to Ethelman. Long night. So thank you again. For anyone interested in touring the facility, guided tours will begin momentarily. Not yet, but momentarily. But before we do that, I would like to direct your attention to the giving tree over here. Do you want to do it together? You okay? Well, you'll say hell yeah. So this lovely tree, courtesy of Sunnyside Nursery, is filled with items that the Children's Center at both campuses still need. Each tag has a picture of the item along with a donation of the amount needed. So please take a look and feel free to untie if you are so inspired. Ethel?
Well, I didn't want you to leave and pass the desk out there. So if you're not prepared to give tonight, you can certainly commit. We'll accept that and come after you. But if you can contribute, on with it.
And Ethel has a boot on all of your cars, so she knows where to find you. Thank you again for your being here this evening. Congratulations to all. Thanks so much.
Great to see you. Come over to Florida. I came just for this. So
Magnetiles.
yeah, Magnetiles.
You have
We
those?
want some. We want them.
You can't just get, we at first only had one pack.
Sure.
Now, this is 3 packs together.
Oh, you've gotten, yeah. Each year
This
you
is
get
Lori,
another
this is
pack.
Lori and Indica's room. My room is in there with them. Eventually, we're gonna get it.
Yeah. We got 2 rooms and so far, the toddlers, the 2-year-olds, they all have the great wood trucks. We want the big trucks. We just haven't been able to smooth them out.
sometimes it just comes out of your shoes and words are codified anywhere else in any other language. Table, this is kind of got an angle. And theirs, there was like a dark, very hard to see section. It's very dark. Edge. So
I like this much better.
Yeah.
It's much more open.
And this is for the amateur?
No, both multi-age classes, yeah.
Both of them are.
You can see the little pictures, all of them are covered.
Really?
All different ages. He's, let's see, there's one that's, this guy, he's turned 3.
Small Family Foundation.
This guy's a 3. Yeah.
So I
And then we have 5-year-olds, so. Thank you very much. Thank you. I love it. Hi. He's ready
Robin, did you meet Siri?
No, I haven't.
Okay, Robin. And was not an area. They use linoleum tiles.
It still has, you know, this is real. It still is real. But,
I was frustrated. Love the idea. I know what the I like this combination of organizing all that in there. We need to do that. Instead of a big box of Yes. Right. Right. And here's that. They just have to do that.
The half tables, yeah. Yeah, so the main thing with the round tables can work behind top, especially younger toddlers, because it's hard to sit at the so that's why the rectangular table is so much better. But the main table, sometimes programs have round tables way. So this is like the right size. There's a circular table.
She directs senior service program.
Sorry.
Oh, we love it. That's my hero dog, Fred.
I did. Yeah. Don't trust me. Go into the American Center and on the board, I put up 2 flyers. There are 2 flyers. I mean, you go in there and you can take the flyers because yes, I have extra flyers. When you go in the room to your right with the microwave, your piles. So take one for that. That's your biggest thing. That's the biggest thing.
Well, we gotta finish this election cycle first.
Oh, what am I giving you advice? But that's a good memory for people to see your face.
Yeah, thank you.
You're good to see you. How is life? How's your sister?
My sister is good. She lives in Ashland, but she also has a house in Crescent City. So she goes back and forth between Ashland and Crescent City. She's a retired teacher.
No, you get out that way.
But she's out in the Ashland school district.
I'm just giving myself a drink.
See her occasionally. Well, you know something? I started out in education to switch to business. Probably. Anyway, it's interesting. The only thing that I miss, comparing it to like the local school, I don't think I have as much. As when I was in local school. you can be a lot more proactive. Yeah, and then like, because it's just a structure, it's just an organizational layer. College trustee is a different.
Because there's where you're like. So, some of the meals.
You're on a local school board.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm gonna find out.
Oh, yeah. No. We started. Ya empezamos desde el semestre pasado. Empezamos, sí, un semestre, un año. Tenemos un año de estudiar hasta ahora. 9 años. Trabajé para la ciudad de San Rafael por 9 años también. En la Parkside Prison. Está cerca donde está el béisbol.
Ya.
En el House of Wildcat. Ahí trabajé yo por 9 años y después me moví para acá. Sí, está precioso. Toda la documentación, todo este es mi fuerte, lo que me gusta hacer.
Entonces te trabajas en
Bueno, no, yo estoy aquí estamos aquí, somos 2 maestras acá.
So now you'll see how different this classroom feels.
So yeah,
Eso sí va a ser para Karen porque su hija es activa y a ella
Totally cool. Bye. Take care.
Sí.
So, see, and so are these older kids now?
Tenemos sí. Korean, Swedish, español, inglés, portugués.
Siempre olvidamos llevarlo de casa. Y trabaja para... Bueno, Paul está casada con un argentino. El papá de Max es español.
Ah, ok.